Hey everyone, it's Logan coming at you from Hunting Pros, and today I'm going to share with you my smoked rabbit recipe. Now, it's always nice to be able to cook your game meat in different ways, so I figured I'd share this with you.
Okay, for this particular recipe, you're not going to place the entire rabbit into your smoker. Instead, you're going to take a sharp knife, whether it be a kitchen knife or a survival or hunting knife of some sort, and cut the meat into strips that are about 1 inch to 2 inches in length. In this particular video, I'm butchering a wild snowshoe hare that was shot in my December the 8th hunting video. But the same principle can go for any type of rabbit, whether it be a cottontail or a store-bought rabbit. Once you've completed the butchering process, you're going to have a bowl of meat that looks something like this. Like I've already said, you're going to want to make sure that the pieces of meat are at least between 1 to 2 inches in length so that they can properly fit on the grate you're going to place in your smoker. In the next part of this video, you're going to see my little hound Twiggy patiently waiting for a piece of snowshoe hare meat to fall on the floor. And I mean, rightfully so. She did a hell of a job during that December the 8th hunt, and I feel she deserves a little piece, so I'm going to give her one. Now, this part of the preparation process is completely optional. However, I highly recommend that if you're not that fond of the gamey taste that can be found in wild snowshoe hare or rabbit meat, that you soak it in a saltwater brine for at least 12 hours. Essentially, this draws out the blood and the gamey taste out of the meat. All I do is I add water and table salt to the bowl full of rabbit meat and then proceed by placing it in the fridge. While waiting for your snowshoe hare or rabbit meat to finish soaking in the saltwater brine, you can create your marinade. For this particular marinade, I use soy sauce, Worcestershire, or at least I think that's what you call it, honey, chili flakes, onion flakes, pepper, garlic powder, and the last two ingredients you see there to the right are optional, and they are liquid smoke and smoked paprika. For the marinade recipe, you add half a cup of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire, 2 tablespoons of honey, a sprinkle of chili flakes or red pepper flakes, two teaspoons of garlic powder, a sprinkle of dehydrated onion or onion flakes, and for optional ingredients you can add a sprinkle of smoked paprika and a couple squirts of liquid smoke. And here you just want to give all the ingredients a good mix around, and voila, you have your marinade. After the snowshoe hare or rabbit meat is finished soaking in the saltwater brine, I typically add fresh ground pepper into the marinade. From here, I proceed by adding the rabbit or snowshoe hare meat into the brine. I typically do all this in a Tupperware container so I can easily shake around all the ingredients. Be mindful that one of the most important steps of this entire process is allowing the meat to soak in the marinade for at least a few hours. Typically, if you really want it to absorb a lot of taste and to tenderize the meat, you'll leave it in the marinade for at least 3 hours. After your meat is finished tenderizing in the marinade, you can then proceed by placing your meat on the racks that you're going to place in your smoker. For me, I'm using an electronic smoker, so it may be different than the type that you're using, but this is just to give you an idea of what they look like after they come out of the marinade. Additionally, I'm just going to add that it's kind of important to allow the meat to sit on the racks for about an hour before you put it into the smoker. And this is just to allow all the excess marinade to drip off. After your meat is at time to dry in the racks, you can choose what type of wood to use. For me, I'm using maple, but really anything will work. As you can see, the type of smoker being used in this video is a Little Chief, which was purchased at Cabela's. Obviously, depending on the type of smoker you have, this process may differ. However, after placing the wood into the Little Chief, I then proceed by plugging it in, as that's how it obtains its heat. Additionally, I'm going to add that the approximate cook time for this particular recipe is about 4 hours. However, once again, this depends on the type of smoker you're using. With this particular smoker, after about 2.5 to 3 hours, the original wood will actually stop smoking, so you need to add some fresh stuff. You also may notice that in the background there's a towel going around the side of the smoker, and that's because I've recently been told that if you put a towel over your smoker, that it might accelerate the smoking process. However, I wouldn't recommend anybody to do this, just because I would hate to see anything bad happen, so don't try that at home. After 4 hours has passed, check on your meat. If it appears to be well done, take all the meat off your racks and place it in a bowl. If not, you're going to have to continue the smoking process until your largest piece of meat appears to be well done in the center. Voila folks, when you're done, your product should look something like this, and it should still be a bit moist in the center. Thank you guys very much for watching, and stay tuned for more upcoming videos like this. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more.